today's video, I'm going to show you how to replace a battery in a Mark 4 Skoda Fabia. If the battery on your Mark 4 Skoda Fabia has died, you want to come around to the passenger side, not the driver's side, but the passenger side. Come under, you see the little slot there for your key, that'll go in there. You'd then prise that off. There is not a key behind this on the driver's side, it's the passenger side only, and that is because the bonnet release is there. Here we are on a Mark 4. We've got enough power on this to unlock the car because we have had this running off of a jump starter, and we are going to pop the bonnet there, ready now to remove the old battery. So now that we have the bonnet popped on our replacement battery ready to go, we can have a look, make sure they're roughly about the same size, same kind of amps and whatnot, called cranking amps. Now this was ordered off the registration plate of the vehicle. See, lovely and clean still in here. So now we're going to have to remove this battery retaining bracket on the side here, on the top here, and we'll have to remove the connections for the positive and negative, always starting with the negative. So in removing this, I'm going to start off by undoing this bolt down here on this retaining bracket. That is a 13mm, and that's the only 13 we should need in removing the battery. Now the rest of them should be 10s. So it is a long bolt. That, as you can see there, it's locked in. So now when we do release the pressure by undoing this top one, this one should come free, and that is what's going to allow a different size of battery as well if you fit in a slightly different size. So now in removing this top one, that's now a 10mm, so it's just a simple nut. There we go. It's nice and loose. It's now off, and that will allow this top battery clamp to now come loose. And now what I will do is we start at the back, which is where the negative is. We remove the negative terminal. You don't have to undo these all of the way. That should now, with any luck, there we go, that's come up. So that is now the negative terminal off of the battery. If you lift up this cover, which does just remove like so, you then have the same again for the positive side. And do be aware that these little tapered clamp styles, those connections, those ones are actually a bit of a pain. They can stretch and then not tighten all the way fully. Now that we've got this one loose as well, we can pop this fuse top cover off. And now that's popped off, we can now see this under here, and this is now situated on the top. So what we need to do is release it from the side. I'll release it there, and we'll release this one too. And now that we've released them on both sides, we're able to now lift this portion up. Now at this point it's up to you, but you can remove this long lead that will run to the starter motor, but we should now be able to extract this top plate that's holding the battery down. You can see I elected to remove this starter connection there. That's allowed me to lift this up and over to the side. So now I should be able to wiggle this battery back the tiniest about a bit, just to free this piece up, like so. Now that's loose, you can now slide this battery forward, get this battery out of here. Now the indicator light would still suggest that this battery was okay, however we know it not to be. So obviously you can see the specs on it there, it being an EFB battery, and that's what we're replacing it with, just the cheapest one we could get really. So now we have the battery in situ, we've pushed it all the way back. As you can see, this is a larger battery than the one that has been taken out, and it is start-stop compatible. So the key now would be to do everything that you've done in reverse. So first off, I've loosely put on, it's still just finger tight, that 10mm there the battery strap up at the top. As we can see, it's in on this side. It's now secure on that side. So next we'll push this down, get the cover back on. We'll then look at refitting that. But before we do that, we'll put this lead back on just there as it was, clip all that back in. That was very tight, being that this is a bigger battery and not specifically for this car. So we've got our positive terminal now back on. We have tightened up this 13mm. Now what we can do is just throw a cover back on there. You see, you've got two tabs on that side first. It'll rock into position and click. There we go. You do also have your little positive terminal cover, again, two little prongs go in like so. Very wonky. So the next bit is you're going to want that 13 again, so that will then go in there like so. You can snug that up to the battery, but as long as, so the top strap isn't tight either yet, so I've got that in there. That's going to lock in to there. So that's finger tight, that's not going anywhere. That's now resting on there. So what we can do is tighten that up, tighten this tent up, and then we're ready to put the negative terminal back onto the car. So that's battery now back on, negative terminal back on, everything's now tightened back up. So now we need to go in the car. There are a couple of differences. So here we have a 60 amp hour battery, and you can see our old battery there is a 49 amp hour. So a much bigger battery, but what we are going to do is now code it and tell the car it's got a bigger battery, so otherwise it won't play nice. So here we are, and we're now going to have a look at these. So what we're going to want to change is our serial number on our battery, and change that to, just change the last digit up by 1, and click do it. Accepted. The car now knows that it has a new battery, and then what I want to do is scroll up a little bit again. So rated battery capacity, it knew it had a 49, we installed a 60, so we're going to tell it it has a 60 amp hour battery, which now it knows. So one of the important things on here is you can change the technology, the manufacturer, capacity, and the serial number. Now, as long as you're keeping the same technology, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about that whatsoever. The same goes to the manufacturer. Now, you can specify, and there are certain codes you can Google and put in the specific manufacturer if you really want to. I mean, this came with a Varta battery from new. But as long as you tell it it's got a new serial number, and if you change the battery capacity, that you've changed that and it is the same technology, well then who made it doesn't really matter all that much, does it? So that's now coded on here on VCDS, and this is a 72 plate car, and you don't need not component protection, you don't need the SFD to be able to do that. So whenever you're doing anything like this, make sure that bonnet is up for it to deactivate that diagnostic filter so you can connect to it. So that's how you replace a battery in Mark IV Skoda Fabia.